Welcome back to Blacks in Motion. And like I said, we're going to talk about the NBA, namely the leader, David Stern. He recently retired after becoming the NBA commissioner in 1984. He had a host of accomplishments that he did with the NBA. He took it to new heights that you've never seen before. Now, he reaped some of the benefits of having superstars like Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, Charles Barkley. Those guys all came into the league, all already in the league when he became commissioner. So he was already riding the high, but he did capitalize on that. One of the number one things that he did, he expanded the TV viewership of the NBA. A lot of people don't realize that in the mid-'80s, the NBA, you couldn't catch a game on any given night. You had to have a special channel or be in a special part of the country to get it. It was not a nationally branded association to where you can just pop it on, let alone have multiple games on. You'll be lucky to even catch a game. And usually you had to wait for a big game with big rivals, and it was going to create such a fervor that these guys were going to actually make it on TV. The next thing that he did is that he had league expansion. He saw the creation of a multiple amount of teams to add to the league. You know, when he first came in, there were only like 10, 12, 14 teams in the league. You know, now they're 30 plus. It's a lot of teams in the league now. Not to mention, we have teams that have gone across the United States border. We have teams that are in Canada. So yes, that makes it an international expansion as well. And speaking of international, because he had his hand in making the NBA a global game, we have an influx of international players on teams. Hey, I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan. You think I don't know that? You'll need a translation dictionary just to go in there and talk to all the different players that we got from different countries, let alone across the league. But also, you have to understand that all these things led to the number one accomplishment, and that was the increase of revenue. Yeah, there's somebody over there across the pond that's buying or have bought a Michael Jordan jersey, a Magic jersey, a Kobe Bryant jersey, a LeBron James jersey, a Kevin. All that stuff is accessible to the global market, and that is what he helped create for the NBA. Now, everything ain't always peachy cream when it comes to David Stern. He's had some controversies that he's been involved in. I like to call him the black hand. You know, I think he had a little something to do in the background with some of these things, namely the number one, the 1985 draft. You know, the biggest market at the time was New York with the Knickerbockers, and they needed a real good player. Who was coming out of college at the time? Patrick Ewing. And so it only made sense to send the best collegiate player to this team in the biggest market so that you can continue to grow the NBA as a whole. So when they dropped all the envelopes into the bucket, yeah, that's before they had the lottery balls. They say that, you know, the corner of the envelope was pinched for the Knicks, or that they had even put it in a cooler to make the envelope cold so that when somebody picked it out of the bucket, they'll know which one was for the New York Knicks. Hey, watch the video. It's quite compelling. The next thing is the Laker trade that recently happened over in the NBA, trying to send Chris Paul to the Los Angeles Lakers from, at the time, the New Orleans Hornets. Well, when the trade was announced, right after that, David Stern came in and vetoed the trade. Well, what was controversial about that? The New Orleans Hornets were struggling so much, the league took over ownership. That means that all the other owners of all the other teams had a play into what decisions were made with that one organization. So, of course, you send Chris Paul to go play with Kobe Bryant and Dwight Howard, yeah, you would have thought that it was another dynasty being formed. And David Stern and the other GMs said, guess what? Nope, we're not going to have it. Very controversial. And the last thing, he had a couple of lockouts that he had to deal with. This last lockout, it actually extended over almost into the Christmas break, and we were going to hate it as fans. But hey, overall, David Stern worked it out. I'm glad that he was the commissioner. I think he did a pretty good job, minus all of the controversies. So we can go and take our hat off right here at Blacks in Motion to David Stern. Thank you for your service. Now, the person that's going to take over the job is the deputy commissioner, or should I say the commissioner now, Adam Silver, and we look forward to him doing some of the great things in the NBA that David Stern did. But hey, maybe you think David Stern was the best commissioner of all time. Maybe you don't. Maybe you think that the Super Bowl was rigged, or maybe you think the game did suck. Either way, I want to hear from you. You let me know. Hit me up in my email, cliff@blackvideonews.com. And as always, love us right here at Blacks in Motion.